You're not dreaming. It really happened. The Chicago Bears went out and got pass rusher Yannick Ngakoue last night on a 1-year, $10.5 million contract. They also signed 18-year veteran run blocking tight end expert Mercedes Lewis on a 1-year, $2 million contract and still have $3 million left in cap in order to get one more veteran from free agency or waivers. No pads today for the guys running through different plays in different drills. Justin Fields definitely won practice today. He came back, adjusted nicely against a very tough defensive practice from Wednesday. Injury updates on DeMarcus Walker, Justin Jones, Jack Sanborn, Tevin Jenkins, and Nate Davis all are looking up and good. And one highlight video we were able to get off Twitter of Chase Claypool. Hello and welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde. Tony's back. Tony is in the flesh. He is back in the state of Illinois. He's alive. He's well. He's out of Packer country. And we have some huge news here for you guys. Before we begin, please hit the like button on this video. Share your thoughts in the comment section below and hit that subscribe button. Tony, before we start today, what was it like living in Packer country for the last 8 months?
Well, Wisconsin was a beautiful state. But as Serengeti once said in his famous song, Dennehy, vacation place, Wisconsin, that's all it's really good for, just relaxing and vacationing. The real business is done in the transportation hub of the world, Chicago. So speaking of getting some business done, let's get right into it, Nick.
Just hops right back in after not being on for a while. I know Ron's going to be very happy to see you, and I'm very happy to see you as well. So let's run through the offense. Got some questions for you, Tony. I know we got some highlights as well. The good today was Justin Fields, in my opinion, had a very good day. Was connecting well with just about everybody in the receiving room. Worked really well in the red zone, 1-on-1 and 11-on-11. Struggled at first in 11-on-11. Went back into the huddle, talked to his guys, adjusted nicely, and turned everyone into touchdown machines. He struggled in the 2-minute drill, though. The Bears only got a field goal out of it. That's okay. Some points is better than no points. And again, it was the first 2-minute drill they've ran so far during camp, at least that's been reported. The offensive line got their first look of what they'll be like this upcoming season. Nate Davis and Tevin Jenkins were both back today. Wasn't in pads. That's okay. Good to see the guys back on the field, especially after Jenkins' scary injury last week. The wide receiver room had a nice day, especially Darnell Mooney and Chase Claypool had some big days. DJ Moore always has big days, so I don't even know why I'm saying it. But Mooney had the highlight of the day, putting unstoppable Kyler Gordon on skates. Looked really nice, according to Greg Braggs. And also, it looks like Mooney is adjusting well after the injury. So Chase Claypool was cooking again. Want to hit on that. I know Tony's got a ton of updates on Chase Claypool, but the big red zone target was cooking today. Tony, what do you got for us on Chase Claypool?
Yeah, there were just a couple things I wanted to share from Twitter. This is from Chris Emma from 670 The Score. There was a very funny play that happened that involved Chase Claypool, where Justin Fields, he threw him a pass in the end zone. The ball deflected off of Claypool and right into the hands of Robert Tonyan, who I know we're going to talk about a little more in a second here. One play later, the ball deflected back off Tonyan's hands and landed with Claypool in the end zone. So the chemistry is there on the field. They're there to pick each other up when anything bad happens. That's better than just a straight, catch, touchdown, whatever. You can adjust, you can adapt to anything that comes your way. Great feeling going into the season here.
I'm excited about it because I know Tony and I have been big Chase Pool supporters, especially considering last year I called Tony in the middle of the day while I was on a run to make sure he was available to jump on for a live stream when we picked up Claypool. I have a lot of hope in this guy. He looks great so far in camp. And a lot of people are like, it's just camp. No, it's not just camp. This is Chicago Bears 2023 camp. A lot different than any of Matt Nagy's camps. Very excited about this team so far. And Claypool looks super good so far. So Tony kind of put it up really well. The tight end news has been pretty big. Again, we went out and got Mercedes Lewis on a 1-year, $2 million deal. The three-headed monster of Kmet, Tonyan, and Lewis is going to be a big problem for Chicago, especially Lewis being one of the best run-blocking tight ends in the NFL over his entire 18-year career. And yes, that includes last year. We see this move as Poles wants a mentor for his $50 million tight end in Cole Kmet. And also, Khalil Herbert has still struggled with run blocking even at camp so far. The improvement was a big red flag considering there really wasn't any improvement. So expect to see Lewis in on a ton of Herbert packages. Tony, what are your thoughts on the new three-headed monster in Chicago?
It's a heck of a trio. I haven't been this excited for a trio of tight ends since Greg Olsen, Desmond Clark, and Brandon Manumaluna. I don't remember how to say his name. It's been about 12 years. Luke Getsy is going to have fun scheming routes for these guys. But also, as you mentioned, and everyone has been so excited about Mercedes Lewis's run blocking abilities. We're going to be able to scheme up some hard-nosed run plays. That's what the 49ers do. That's what makes them so difficult to stop, is just the poetry in motion that is their run game. Luke Getsy has that opportunity now with some good run blocking on the outside now.
Absolutely. I love the pickup. And also on a $2 million 1-year contract, he'll be off the books next year. And look at it, $2 million in cap next year for the Chicago Bears, at least. Actually, more like $12.5 million, considering we took on Yannick, which we're going to talk about in a second here. I know Tony's got his thoughts, but overall, a good day for the offense, especially having Nate Davis and Tevin Jenkins back out there. It's a good to see. I'm excited for them. Hopefully they get back in pads when they are in pads, supposedly again tomorrow for sure for Family Fest, if it doesn't get rained out. So Tony, how are you feeling so far about the overall offense?
I'm feeling fantastic, and specifically a guy I wanted to hit on was Tyler Scott. We've been tweeting about him. Everyone's been, all over this guy. He may have an opportunity to actually make an impact this season, as no one would have predicted, a year ago coming in now. Now this might be one of those Tanner Gentry stories coming out of camp, but if Fields rides for him, I cannot see the coaching staff turning up their nose at that.
Absolutely. I really do like Tyler Scott. I think he's doing a fantastic job for the Chicago Bears right now. I really like what he, has to overall contribute to this team. Him and Darnell Mooney next to each other is going to be the deep ball threat that the Chicago Bears have absolutely needed. They're a duo, not just one guy. You throw them both on the outsides, defenders are going to be like, well, who's giving up a touchdown today? So that's pretty much how it's going to go. But let's talk about the Chicago Bears defense. Obviously, the big news that came out last night. We did a live stream of it, and thank you for everyone for tuning into that. Over 5,000 views on that live stream. Crazy to have all you guys in there. Also, there was a couple of Vikings fans in there last night that are just salty. I just absolutely love it, because Vikings fans are just falling apart at the freaking seams right now. But we signed Yannick to a 1-year, $10.5 million contract, brings the pass rush pressure that Chicago has badly needed. He's an improvement on the run stopping as well, but he is not an expert in that. We all know that, just putting that out there, but he is an expert at getting after the quarterback and causing problems. I am a big fan of this signing, because guess what? Javon Dexter Sr., who's having a hell of a camp right now and had another huge day today, benefits from this signing big time. A couple more things is that Jack Sanborn was back on the field today after having to deal with an injury the last 2 practices. Same with DeMarcus Walker. He was back out there. And when Yannick comes to practice and him and Walker on each side, Wright and Jones are going to be put up to a hell of a challenge. Brisker continued to have a big day today. He actually had a sack and a few pass breakups. And Tyreek Stevenson is starting to work on the Peanut Tillman punch. Nice to see the rookie adding to his tool belt. Tony, now that we've gone through all that, because the exciting part is Yannick, how are you feeling about Yannick, and what does this mean to you?
Yeah, I stayed up until 2 a.m. last night, just repeating his name over and over.
You did.
I think I finally got it right. Yannick, I already messed it up. Yannick Ngakoue. Right. I think I got it. He's a beast of a pass rusher, especially considering he had 9.5 sacks last year. Well, the entire Bears defensive ends specifically totaled 6.5 in 2022. One more fun fact that honestly it gave me probably too much hope, which is going to get crushed at some point, I'm sure. However, we're going to keep riding with it. Only one player has totaled 8 or more sacks every season since 2016. That player is Yannick Ngakoue. Ryan Poles turned our defense around in one offseason.
I love it. I mean, there's also a ton of room for opportunity, which I know you're going to hit on in a minute, but why not the Bears? I mean, I've been saying 10-7, 11-6. This just shot up to 12-5. And why not the Bears to win the North and go make a deep playoff run? They have guys on this roster who are special, who have a chip on their shoulder. Yannick is one of them, because everyone only gives him 1-year contracts. But chip on the shoulder, a lot of rookies with a lot to prove, a lot of young guys with things to prove, getting big contracts later in their career. Why not the Bears? That's all I got to say. Tony, I know you said there's a little bit of room for improvement and opportunity. I want you to hit on that real quick before we close out.
Yeah, so Terrell Smith has been getting a lot of reps with the first-team defense this week. Reports are that he, quote, doesn't look out of place, which is very high praise with this Bears secondary. I know the Bears defense Again, we're still figuring out if we're good or not. The second, Jalen Johnson, Eddie Jackson, the secondary isn't necessarily our weak point. So that is very good to hear.
Correct.
And specifically from the horse's mouth, according to Eberflus, he is in a quote, or in an quote, open competition with Tyreek Stevenson. So he's going to be a fun guy to watch in the preseason. I know, we're not going to be watching Justin Fields probably too much in preseason games. I guess we'll see, but that's a guy that's going to be a fun competition, I guess, as Eberflus is calling it, to keep an eye on.
It's a good problem to have when two rookies are battling it out for the spot. On top of it, you have a young secondary. I mean, Eddie Jackson's the oldest guy in the secondary. He's 29 years old. It's a good problem for the Chicago Bears to have, and I am very excited about it. But Tony, before we close out, it was great having you back on the show. What are you feeling record prediction-wise before we close out?
Okay, realistically, it's probably going to be lower than, 17-0 and then eventually 20-0 winning the Super Bowl. Obviously, that's my official prediction, but if I'm going to give my realistic prediction, and I'm sure we'll do one where we actually look at the schedule, really break it down. I'm going to go with, I think they get 10 wins. It's probably, honestly, there's a chance it's 11. I'm going to go with 10 wins, 7 losses. Win the NFC North. I think the NFC North is going to be actually really bad this year. The Lions are going to compete with us. I think the Vikings are going to suck. And then Super Bowl or bust, baby.
Tony, you're bringing the energy. It's like you never left. I'm so happy that you're able to join. I'm with you. I think that I'm betting the over on 10 wins right now as it stands, just to put that out there. We're going to do a full schedule breakdown episode the week of week 1 for the Chicago Bears. We're super excited about it. We hope you are too. But with that, thank you very much for joining this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde, joined alongside Tony Sapita. We'll see you guys next time.